everybody. Good afternoon. Thank you for coming today. I just wanted to have a little informal meet and greet with our new town manager, Mr. Tony Mazzucco. And Tony, I want you to know that we have some representatives from maybe you could just raise your hand, from the COA board. We have Delia Bartuca. Then from the Friends of the Council on Aging, we have Jim Schmidt, Bill McCoy, Dolly Parker, and Benson is in the front office working today. And then we have members from our triad here, Margaret Rasty and Tom Judge and Evelyn Kupal. And in the table back there is our handcrafters that do a lot of great work. And then we have plenty of our participants and our volunteers. So they're all here to just hear a little bit about you. So thank you for coming.
Great, thank you. Thank you, everyone. If you can't hear me, just let me know, although I usually don't have a problem with folks hearing me too much. I'm just going to tell you a little bit about myself and talk for a minute or two, and then I'm going to spend some time getting to know you and meeting you and introducing myself to all of you. So as Carrie said, my name is Tony Mazzucco. I am your new town manager here in Norwood. I'm not from Norwood, but I did grow up in the area. I grew up in the town of Randolph. I went through the Randolph public school system, graduated from Bridgewater State with a undergraduate degree and a graduate degree in political science and in public administration. I started off in the private sector before getting into local government. Is anyone here a town meeting member? Good town meeting members. I was a town meeting member when I was 18 years old. I've always enjoyed local government and town government and getting involved with the community. So that over time is what led me to want to get into municipal management. I've worked in Vermont and in Maine and in Western Massachusetts, and then finally decided to come back home to Norwood. I have family that originally came from Norwood. My sister was born here in Norwood, so I'm particularly happy to be here. And other than that, I'm just a fairly ordinary individual. I enjoy traveling, I enjoy reading, and I of course enjoy local government, which is why I'm here. And that's really all I had to say. I want to take this, I'll take any questions anyone has, but I really want to spend some time out there getting to know each of you and seeing how you're doing and letting you know how we can help you. So does anyone have any questions or anything you'd like to answer? Feel free to throw anything at me. I used to, yeah, right here up front.
Did you watch the Super Bowl yesterday?
I did. I'll admit I watched about half of it and then I kept pace with the score, and it was a nail biter to the end. I mean, the Eagles did a great job. I think the Patriots still did a good job. If anything, we've become a little bit spoiled, but you know, there's always next year. No, I got up at 5:15 like I do during the week. I went to the gym and came into work just like I normally did. I might have been a little slow the first hour or two this morning, but I made it in. Yeah, right there.
Tony, can you give us an update on the garage? Because John Carroll's going to have to sleep here at night if he gets kicked out.
It's moving forward. It's been delayed a little bit just for the winter. I believe we're waiting until March so we can pour the foundation for it. You're referring to the garage for the senior van, right? Yeah. So the DPW is going to be pouring the foundation. The winter just sort of got in the way of the construction, but we found enough money we needed to complete the garage. It'll end up happening this spring. The winter just got in the way of being able to pour the foundation, getting the actual structure up.
And you'll let John know that it'll be available for him.
We'll make sure to let John know. Yeah, I see one in the back here. Oh, thank you very much. 2 weeks ago, I had a chance on a Saturday to head to the Edward M. Kennedy Institute in Boston, it's the Edward M. Kennedy Institute for the Study of the Senate, and it's attached to the JFK Presidential Library. And the Norwood High Honors Civics class was participating in a We the People Constitutional Convention at the Edward M. Kennedy Center. So I spent the day there with the kids from our high school senior civics class, our honors senior civics class, and was able to watch them compete and debate over the Constitution, and Norwood came in third. So our Norwood High students did great at the Constitutional Convention. Civics education, incidentally, is something that's so important in the Commonwealth today, and not enough communities actually do it. They don't pay attention to civics. You might be surprised that there are a lot of communities in this Commonwealth that do not teach civics education. There are some superintendents you'll approach and say, a lot of my colleagues in the municipal management profession will approach them and say, can we even get in for a day just to teach kids about local government and how their town functions? And some of them will even say that that's not acceptable. They can't find room in the curriculum. Norwood is the complete opposite. We have a civics class. We have a lot of great civics programs. I'm actually speaking with these kids this coming Friday in their civics class. So we do have a great civics program here at Norwood High, and that's something the town should be proud of, because a lot of towns, unfortunately, have gone in the other direction, and I think that's the wrong direction to go in. But I was very happy to be there, and the kids did great.
I don't want to put you on the spot.
Go for it.
Norwood's got, out of 30,000, there's about 10,000 seniors. I don't know if you know that or not.
Yep.
But what's your opinion of buying the Forbes mansion? Because the 10,000 seniors are gonna have to find a way to pay for it too.
So I'm going to take a pass on that one by saying town meeting made the decision before I got here, and it's my job to just deal with the aftermath, which is we bought a property. Now it's going to cost us around $500,000 a year between the debt service on the property and the operating expenses on it. That's if we do nothing else with it. I think the Board of Selectmen have put together a task force to look at how we can redevelop that property. Some folks want to see some open space, and we do need open space in the community. It's great to have outdoor recreational space, but that comes at a cost. Not developing the land comes at a cost as well. We know we need housing in the community. A lot of folks have mentioned they'd like to see 55+ housing, but some of that's going to be market driven. So I think the ultimate goal for that property is to find some shared use of it where there's some open space, there's a housing component, and something to take that financial burden off of the town as much as we can, even if we can't reduce the entire financial burden. I often say that we can do anything the taxpayers want, we just can't do everything the taxpayers want. Every decision we have comes with an opportunity cost. So if we maintain a piece of property for whatever valid reason to keep affordable housing out or to allow it in, whatever it happens to be, that comes at the cost of something else we could be doing. Do we spend the money on roads? Do we purchase the property? Do we fix the roof on this building? Do we pay debt service on a property? I generally take a fiscally conservative approach to most town budget issues, but it's going to be a challenge for us to redevelop and repurpose that property. But town meeting voted to buy it, and as the legislative body goes, it's our responsibility on the town staff end to then take it and make their wishes come true. But it'll be a challenge, but we'll get through it. Yep.
Tony, now that you have been town manager here for a short period of time, what are you seeing as important for you to be doing as the town manager? How are you looking at your role?
That's a great question. So a lot of people will debate whether a town manager is the one that, are you the engine driving the ship or are you the navigator driving the ship? My day-to-day responsibility is to work on managing the over 400 municipal employees that we have in Norwood and the municipal services that we provide. The whole town is about a $190 million operation. So I'm like the CEO of a $190 million operation, even though you've got the schools that do their thing, and I've got great department heads that manage their department heads. So first and foremost, I've got to keep that going. I've got to make sure that my employees can get to work, that my employees have the tools they need to do their job, that they're being paid the best that we can afford them to be paid, that they have good benefits, and that they have my support and the support of the various boards and committees that we have in town. I do work for the Board of Selectmen, so they're sort of setting that policy and that goal of where they want the town to go as they're elected directly by you, and then I'm sort of helping all the departments to get there. I like to put my departments out in front and encourage them to provide the services that they need to provide, but I focus on giving them the tools, and I try to serve as a bridge between town government and the public, not just the boards and committees, but the average residents, because a lot of times you may have a department that wants to do a project, and then selling that project to the public is a different role. We have great engineers, we have great DPW staff and great light staff. I try to take what they do and translate it to the public, and to translate what municipal government does and why we do the things that we do, serving as a facilitator for what the community wants to get done. I try to balance everything. You have certain boards and committees that, your Conservation Commission is always going to be interested in conservation. That's important. That's their job. Your school committee is always going to be interested in the school system. That's their job. I, on a day-to-day basis, try to balance all of that with our available resources and just try to keep the train chugging along. I like to think of it as a wheel that's spinning. I try to keep the wheel spinning as quick as we can and try to take all the little breaks off that we all seem to put on there with our difficult processes that we have in Massachusetts for local government. But in terms of the larger challenges of what I see that we need to do, Norwood's in a unique place that we're largely a fully built-out community. That doesn't mean that we're not going to stop, that we're going to stop growing. But communities like Westwood and Walpole and Canton and Sharon, they've seen a lot more growth, or I should say different growth than we've seen in the last 5 or 10 or 15 years. The gentrification wave that is sweeping the greater Boston area has started here. It's probably going to continue here. And that has some pluses and minuses. That's going to be one of our biggest challenges, is dealing with that. On the one hand, from a municipal budget side, it's great when property values go up and your homes are worth more, your rents go up, the tax base goes up. But then seniors like yourselves who are in your home, it's no consolation to say that your tax bill is going up because your home value has gone up because you just want to stay in your home. And that's the thing in every community I've worked in that I hear mostly from seniors, is they just want to stay in their home. So that's a balance that's tough to achieve. Property values going up is a good thing, but somebody who just wants to stay the next 10 or 20 years in their home, that property value going up isn't much consolation. And I know folks on the other side will say, well, but the property value is going up, so now you have an asset that's worth more money. But when you just want to stay in your home, it doesn't matter, because the values never seem to go up enough to really lower the tax rate, which is a challenge. They say when you can't build out, you got to build up, but in a suburban community like ours, there's only so far we can build up, and that too is a challenge. You need growth to continue providing services and to try to maintain a stable tax rate, but you can only grow so much, and growth just for the sake of growth isn't worth it either. So that's one of the challenges that I'll try to balance. One of the things I do want to do over the next couple of years is try to build up our planning department. If we had a really aggressive, well-staffed planning department, they're able to address a lot of these growth issues that we face, not just in Norwood, but elsewhere, and try to maneuver them in a way that we're making sure we're growing in a way that works for everyone. One of the things I like to point out that's always been pointed out to me, if you think back to the late 40s and the early 50s, the economy domestically in the United States was booming. It was just absolutely going gangbusters. And of course, baby boomers were being born. So what were we doing? We were building schools everywhere in America, not just here in Norwood, all over the Commonwealth, all over the country. Well, we're seeing that same population boom now in our seniors, but we're not building senior centers every year. I mean, there's probably not a town in the Commonwealth that doesn't have a school that was built in the 1950s. So we expended a lot of community resources on education because that's where the majority of our population growth was. We're not necessarily doing the same in the Commonwealth or in Norwood today for our senior population. It's much more difficult. Kids need schools, seniors mainly want to stay in their homes. So that's one of the challenges we face. And it's not unique to us. We're not really managing growth or managing decline, we're managing density. And that's tough to do. I mean, we don't have hundreds and hundreds of acres of land available for new subdivisions and new schools to come in. We're sort of here where we are, and we've got to balance what's changing around us. I always advise communities to think to the future, and that's what I try to do. We have pressing needs now. We have challenges that are facing us right now today, but where are we going to be in 10 years? Where are we going to be in 20 years? Where are we going to be in 30 years? Because in 10 or 20 or 30 years, we're still going to have senior citizens, we're still going to have a school district, we're still going to have a police department and a fire department, and we're still going to have the same 10 square miles that we have here. So I always encourage folks to look down the road and see where we're going to be. Sorry to answer in such a long way, but.
Thank you.
Anyone have any questions, comments, concerns? Questions about town government, how town government operates? I always love talking about budgets and how towns work. All right, if nobody has any other questions, I want to thank you for giving me a little bit of time. I'm going to walk around and take a chance to meet all of you. And if you have any other questions, you just let me know. And if you need anything, you can always reach out to my office, and we'll do anything we can do to get you taken care of. Thanks, everyone.